when they step in the game. Everyone knows my name. Doctor Strange, who, Spider-Ham, maybe, and Black Widow. On a secret mission to stop the villain. Dance of Death is the main event. Unless I'm Rocket Raccoon, no time to be rude. Oh wait, I just murmured you. I'm a superhero, always willing to go to blow with crimes to save so many lives. A stud is do or die. Marvel champions, you a champion. I'm champion, we are champions. I'm a superhero, always willing to go to blow with crimes to save so many lives. A stud is do or die. Marvel champions, you a champion. I'm champion, we are champions. They say it's a little bit slow, but I'm all about control. When I stun and confused, cause there's no way I would lose. I flip up and down, villains stand you round till I'm ready or not. This combo ready to drop 20, 30 damages and cannon hawk smash. I'm a bash, put him in the trash and call it a match. Let's step up in the portal or get up in game. Dead Winnie the Nelson, so keep it locked and watching. I'm a superhero, always willing to go to blow with crimes to save so many lives. A stud is do or die. Marvel champions, you a champion. I'm champion, we are champions. I'm a superhero, always willing to go to blow with crimes to save so many lives. A stud is do or die. Marvel champions, you a champion. I'm champion, we are champions. They call me Desperate Game and he's an animal. Watch him play, expert 2, standard 2, clowning you, villains.
Hello everybody, welcome to Descry Gaming. I'm Descry. So this is not going to be a let's play. This is going to be kind of one of my more response type videos to myself, but more importantly explaining how we did a turn 1, or more importantly turn 1 on Expert Ronan kill. And I know there might be some veterans out there or that play the game a lot and they already know how I did it, or they don't really need this explanation, but I figure this will be a more concise breakdown of the mechanical nature of this one-turn kill. And I did learn just from analyzing my play and talking with other people on Discord. There's a couple cards I could have changed, or different things I could have did in the decks that might have made me have more of an advantage going into this challenge of a one-turn kill, or turn 1 kill on Ronan. So I'll mention those changes, because in my video that's posted, I don't have, you know, I beat Ronan, but there's some cards that I definitely could have put in that would have gave me maybe a higher percentage chance to beat him. So anyways, I'm going to go to the table. I'm going to break down sort of how this is even done, because I think for new players or novice players, they might be baffled, like, how do you turn 1 kill Ronan? You know, you're not even playing Star-Lord, you're playing Cable and Drax. You know, how does that work? And I'll go into it, you know, why Drax, mainly Drax can do it, and why Cable is really good also. So let's jump to the table. I'll see you guys there. All right, and again, you know, if you're a member or you're subscribed to my channel, you know, in a nutshell, it's been mainly Marvel Champions, and I'm known for, you know, playing on harder difficulties, analyzing a lot of things. You know, some people kind of relate me to a little bit of Tony Tales, a little bit of D20. Well, I don't know. I mean, I try to do, you know, let's plays. I try to interact with you guys, ask you guys hard questions. talk about what's going on in the community, talk about, previewing new cards upcoming. But yeah, another part of me is like the analytical part. I like kind of teaching players or just, informing other players of cool, interesting things in the game. And yeah, that's about it. But again, so this one's gonna, be a little bit different. We're not playing. This is just me explaining a lot of things. So I don't know if people are gonna like this video. We'll find out. But this is a little bit different. I haven't really done one of these really explaining type videos of how everything is working. But I figured there was such a great response with the turn 1 Venom Goblin kill and now the turn 1 Ronan kill. I figured, let's explore this. Let's kind of deep dive into how this was achieved, and more importantly, is there things we could have done betterly when we got those wins? But in a nutshell, why Drax? Why Cable? So to turn 1 kill, and let me explain. It's a difference from 1 turn kill. So 1 turn kill just means when the players start their round, you kill the villain ultimately in 1 turn. So that could be done later in the game, but a turn 1 kill or on turn 1 is literally on turn 1, and that those are a lot harder to do. I think in the early days, Star-Lord was like the only realistic hero that could pull it off, literally on turn 1. Mainly due to the encounter cards you would get sometimes from flipping a villain or whatnot, or at the reveal. But Next Evolution has really supercharged things, mainly the player size schemes, and also Cable. It's just so darn amazing. And I know there was a bunch of reviews on about these new heroes, Villain Theory, Nelson. A lot of people reviewed Cable, and I kept really stressing, like in the early days, like guys, like I know they rated Cable kind of like B and C, or I don't know, like it didn't. I don't think anyone put him in S tier. Now I don't want these contact people screaming at me like it's solo. So I don't know if they bumped them up to multiplayer. I'm not sure, but my point is that he's really good. I can't stress that enough. And why is because think about it. So let's show you guys the card here so we can take a look at it. But the thing is, this setup ability, especially for these turn 1 kills, the fact that you can go to your discard pile or your deck, grab the exact player size scheme that you need, which is very important when you're trying to do these turn 1 kills. But that's a card that you don't like. That's not even in your hand. So you're up already a card. Plus, it pays the resource of the card. So you're up 2 cards already just with the setup ability, and it allows you to get exactly what you need. So if you're playing multiplayer, if say Drax doesn't get his Dweeb Teeth Mastery in his hand, the setup is after everybody has drawn their hands. So you could go to your Drax player and go, do you have Dewey Teeth in your hand? No, I didn't. So now you can do your setup and grab Superpowered Training. And now Drax can get his Dewey Teeth Mastery, which is required to do the turn 1 kill. So I mean, right there, that is huge. I mean, if we're specifying turn 1 kill, Cable is the best support turn 1 kill hero. The problem is, like, if you were gonna solo Drax in the turn 1 kill atmosphere, I guess it could be done, but it's gonna be so hard. You have to have Dweeb Teeth in your opening hand, or at least in your next couple cycles of your cards coming through. If you don't get Dweeb Teeth, it's not happening. Secondly, you have limited resources. Like you do have like you have 2 Fight Me Cowards, which are 0 cost to basically cycle. But the thing is, you kind of run out of cards. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, like, if you do it solo, things are going to be tight. When you play with Cable and Leadership, Maria Hill gives you a card iPad gives you 2 more. Cables bringing in your Dewey Teeth or bringing in your Drax's other knife. You're getting a Hell Carrier for free. So there's you're getting your ally. You can get an ally out, either a Nick Fury or a Scarlet Spider, and you know that's huge, right? That's huge. So uh, and that's why I'm not a big fan of tier lists. I mean, obviously, if you're if you're a regular on my channel, you know Descry does not like power tier lists because I just find they don't make sense in a way of like the way I play the game. Because if you ask yourself this, if because Drax is literally at near the very bottom with holding hands with Hawkeye and um, Valkyrie, doing little, whatever. How is this hero able to turn one kill Ronan? Okay, so and then again they're gonna say solo tier list. I'm done playing that game. The game itself is meant to be playing multiplayer, and I challenge anybody on that. I'm not saying you can't enjoy it on solo, but I hate that crutch that people always say, "Oh, my power tier list is for solo." That gets thrown at me so many times, and I'm done with it because I think I think at its core, this game is pushing people to play with groups, play with other people, and it's more enjoyable. And again, I'm not saying don't play solo, but I just I got into some heat with some content creators over the truth about power tier lists, and I still to the same date I'm not budging. I still everything I said in that video, I'm 100% still on board. I think everybody should just talk about specification. When we got so many heroes. This is a good opportunity to talk about. Okay, let's talk about good tanks. Let's talk about good DPS heroes. Let's talk about control heroes. Instead of just kind of doing this weird, huge grouping, which a lot of times, like I said, Drax is at the very bottom, and I don't see how this guy at the very bottom of the tier list beats one of the hardest villains in the game on turn one. Yes, Cable assists, but that's another thing. Cable's also ranked kind of average on the power tier list with most content creators. So this is a little bit of a rant, but my point is this. And I don't hate these content creators because I love them. I love the game. I love that they produce content, but I feel like I was justified to say my spiel on tier lists, and I think many people saw what I was trying to say. And I'm not saying you can't enjoy these power tier lists, but let's close that bunny trail. Let's go back to the main topic here, because we're talking about how we do this turn one kill, and we kill Ronan. So a big factor, like I said, Cable is the secret sauce to a lot of it. It's gonna make your comboing and setup a lot more easier and less RNG. That's the key, because ultimately when you're doing a turn one kill, yes, RNG is a huge factor. I'm not going to deny that. And before someone says, well, that's no skill, you just admitted on camera. Trust me, guys, there is skill even doing this one turn kill. Let me explain before I get a bunch of weird comments. Depending on what you're drawing into, or what you're able to accomplish with Cable, will dictate how you go about either taking damage, not taking damage, by repurposing an energy barrier, trying to heal up, place certain events over other events. Yes, there is actually strategy in this. It's not just, oh, I hope the RNG people smile upon me. Yes, there is some RNG there, not denying that. But I bet you anything, even if I gave the exact deck list and I gave this to maybe a newer player that knows a little bit how to play or whatever, they will probably not beat this, because you do have to understand some choices what you're making while you're trying to do this turn one kill, like holding certain cards, like holding Drax's knife leap. You want this on the flip. You definitely want to use this on the flip. Ronan gets it tough, and you want to pierce it through. So I mean, obviously that's kind of simple there, but and then you want to hold on to, you don't really want to, like, I would say hold on to every parry, because you got to get those counters up, and unless you got a lot of energy barriers up, you're going to be taking a lot of damage. So if Ronan hits you for a big thing, another thing, guys, taunt. This is the new card that kind of made it possible for the turn 1 kill. That you have to defend yourself. No one's gonna jump in front of taunt. So that's where a parry is nice. But Cable's telekinetic force field does work with the taunt because it doesn't say defense on it, so you're not defending when you play it. You just kind of basically stop damage from happening on a friendly character. All right, so I'm just kind of taking an overview of why this works. I will go into a lot more depth on each card and everything, but I figure I had to kind of set the record straight a little bit. Yes, I did get into the rant about tier lists, but my point is like very low tier hero beating the steal. So yeah, when I saw Cable get introduced, the light bulb just went on right away. And I think I initially said to everybody, like, damn, this hero is going to change the game. In player group counted games, watch for Cable. Like, I when he was really, I mean, even in the previews, I was like, okay, this is game on now. And anybody that's really understands the game and understands like so one thing too, guys, I mean, just because if you pick up Cable doesn't mean you everything's going to be wonderful. You got to understand these player size schemes. You got to understand what your other teammates are trying to do, what they need to be set up with. So I think communication is important, the strategy is important, but to point it blank, he's a great support hero. Like I've said that from day one. He to me beats out Cyclops and Storm, which again, I love those heroes and I think they're like S tier support heroes, but the player size schemes are just too good. And yes, I've heard Villain Theory say, well, you could put them in any hero, so I don't understand why people gush over Cable. It's the fact of Soldier X ability. It's that tempo, huge tempo at turn 1, which sets the premise of the game a lot of time. His ability to also use certain supports like Professor and stuff to constantly interact with the player size scheme. He can even have a player size scheme come back from victory and defeat it again by using his like time leap upgrade. So again, I think maybe there's a little misconnect with Villain Theory, but I think he's different. Like yes, everybody can play player size games, but Cable just interacts with them so much better. Even in hero form, the dude gets a ready when he defeats a side scheme. So like it doesn't even stop there on setup. I mean, he also scales with the Mind Blast, or what's it called? The one that does his thwart, that scales with Mind Scan. Gray Milk and readies every time you defeat a side scheme. So like he just screams to me like he is the man. He is the man. I mean, and as we know, player side schemes are not going anywhere. I know Caleb and Tony, word on the street, everybody loves player size schemes. There hasn't been very little criticism, only from a couple of weird people out there that just, well, I guess their thinking is maybe they're too strong, but I don't know. I think they're fun. The thing is, all they got to do is give the villains some candies or tools to get at the players to kind of balance, the power level there. That's all they have to do. And I always said it too. If you play on easier difficulties, easier modulars, yes, the player size schemes are going to get out of control and make it too easy. If you play in high pressured scenarios and standard 2 and stuff like that, there's less chance that you can go, oh, I'm going to spend all this time thwarting 12th right off a player size scheme or whatever. So I still stand by it. I think it's balanced in a sense, as long as players balance the game itself. It's up to you as a player. You can make it as easy as possible. Clue says his support is also really good for those player size games. Yeah, I did mention that, Clue, I think before you joined the chat. So anyways, going back to how did I get this turn 1 kill. And I'm not trying to have a victory parade here. I just think a lot of people would love to understand how it's even possible, what are the mechanisms, and that's what I'm trying to do here. The main thing is that if I were to say the key points of achieving this, I would say taunt is a big factor on why this is even possible with Drax. So taunt is going to do a couple things: give you rage counters, and also draw you cards which you badly need with Drax. And you want to get your rage counter to 3, and then you're drawing actually an extra. You're drawing a card if you're at maximum counters. So you only have 3 taunts, but the one thing you might say, well, that's correct. Yeah, you might not get all your taunts. How are you going to get to 3 counters? So return the favor is your next best thing, because there's a high chance, especially against Ronan, he has like 6 activations. There's a high chance he'll get assault or you stand accused, and so he's going to swing at Drax. Okay, so you run 3 of those as well. Okay, so I've never had a game where I never got to 3 counters with Drax out of like the 50 games I played, which sounds really bad, but I think if I go back and do another stream with some deck changes, because I did learn some stuff after we won, how I could make it better. I think my percentage would be higher, and I'll go into that a little bit more later. But I want to go over like how we're even remotely able to do it. Now, not every hero can do this. There's certain heroes in the game that can pull off a turn 1 kill. Like I said, in the early days, it was Star-Lord basically abusing the face down encounter cards. But when Taunt was released in the Psylocke/Angel kit, that was a game changer, because that gave Drax enough steam to go through his deck basically and get all the readies. So what Drax really wants is his leading blow. That's basically, you draw with Dry Teeth, you draw a card and you do damage. Limited stamina, that's kind of I wouldn't say like a super new card, but it's been around. You also have a repurpose, and that's also bumping your attack. So a lot of readies here. And then you have what doesn't kill me, that heals you and readies, but it costs a little bit. I wouldn't say, I won't put too many of these in your deck, maybe 1 or 2. But and then of course you have his identity kit event, Fight Me Coward, which draws you a card and you're ready. It only attacks you. So yeah, I think really the game changer was the taunt that was released in the hero packs, basically. Could you have done this with Star-Lord? Yeah, I think Star-Lord could pull it off. Obviously, it'll be a little bit harder because you don't get any. Well, you do get 1 face down encounter card by removing the hammer, but that's it. Not like Venom Goblin or that. You also have to do 36, and on the flip 50. So that's 86 damage you have to do. So that's even more than Venom Goblin, I think. Or is Venom Goblin 50 on flip? I can't remember. Maybe yes. Maybe it's the same amount of damage. Yeah, so Clue, that's what I'm glad you mentioned that, and it's funny that you even caught that. But okay, so when I beat Ronan, I was not running. Oh, my camera's kind of weird. One sec, guys. So when I beat Ronan, I was not running Black Panther, and why? Because it went over my head. I was oblivious, but I actually think you want to choose him over Nick Fury, because let me explain why. Because you're running the Call for Aids, and you're doing this kind of discarding strategy of trying to get the digging deeps. There's a high chance in a lot of games I would discard the Blaze of Glory. And this is where, Black Panther shines, right? He will bring in. And Blaze, that's the thing. Blaze of Glory is really nice to get. It starts Drax at a nice +2. So in a lot of games I was trying to find Blaze of Glory. Now, I was running 2 of them in my deck. Maybe with Black Panther, yeah, I still think you want to run 2 because you want to make sure you discard one of them when you're doing the call for aid. But yeah, the other thing is I was running Scarlet Spider with Drax. Now, the only reason why I was kind of doing that is because I was using Nick Fury for Cable. And the reason why I was using Nick Fury with Cable is I wanted to draw more cards to potentially get another player size scheme. So that was my reasoning behind that. But because I would rather prefer Black Panther now, you could actually change Scarlet Spider and run Nick Fury in Drax deck. That might be better. Yes, I mean, Return the Favor is going to cycle you the 3 cards, basically, if you play 3 Return the Favors. But the thing is, you might not get all your Return of Favors. In fact, the winning game I got, I only got 2 of them. Another thing is, too, Nick Fury draws you the 3 cards instantly. So, yes, who was it? It was a person on Discord that kind of made a good point to me, and I agree with him. So yeah, so if I could go back in time, I'd probably go the Nick Fury ally for Drax and Black Panther for Cable, basically. And I would just toss Scarlet Spider. Scarlet Spider is still a great ally, but better in the Web of Life support and Spider tribal decks. Anyways, I wanted to also talk about Major Victory. So I would also include Major Victory in Cable's deck. I would not use him for a call for backup, but I would use him as just to play Major Victory. Now, what you want to use them for is when you are doing like Return the Favor and say you don't really want to take another attack type, or you say Fight Me Coward. Those are ones where you can exhaust and defend. And ideally, obviously, you want to be exhausted. So that's when you would chump block with Major Victory, and then it readies a Guardian. So yeah, that's that's really good for Drax, and it's only 2 costs, and it's easy to play. Yeah, so basically, I was saying, like, that's the game changer was Taunt, and now Drax has the ability to kind of do this on turn 1. Is that broken? Did the developers did a oopsie daisy, Doctor Strangey? Oh, okay, Clue. I get you. All right. So you were the guy that gave me the idea. Got it. So let me just say something. Yeah. So I don't think, okay, because this was another discussion I think people were talking about. As soon as I got these turn 1 kills, is this wrecking the game? Oh no, what's going on? This is unheard of. To a point, yes, I know Star-Lord could kind of do it in campaign mode and stuff like that. But I think this is fine, guys. Where I think the game was broken with We Are the Champions. That the fact that it would just be discarded, and there was ways to even get it from your discard following round or whatnot. That was broken. That was something that I'm glad they took initiative and said, we got to nerf this. And I think that was the right call. I know some people giggled and laughed and thought it was kind of funny. I know the Portal people did a 4-player with old champions and played Ronan, and it was like the funniest thing ever. Every round, we are champions, no one takes damage. Next round, we are champions, no one takes damage. But that is game breaking. I mean, it's immersion breaking too, because yes, superheroes should have these superhero moments, and you could say, whatnot. It makes a lot of sense if it was play once, discard it from the game, because that seems more thematic and more real, and far as gameplay goes, doesn't break the game, and you still feel like a superhero. But when you play it every single round, it loses its like luster. Like it becomes just like it's just a different game you're playing. You put Game Genie on and you didn't even know it. So. Thank you, Caleb and Tony, for having the balls to nerf it or eradicate it. That's why if they didn't eradicate that card, I would be very scared about the future of this game, because what that tells me is they do care about, the balance of the game. Yes, I know they've said it in interviews they want player empowerment, and I understand what they're talking about. But I think they also understand that if they make the players too powerful, then the game loses its, challenge fun factor, right? And if you ever been into game design, if anyone's ever remotely looked into it or wanted to study it, part of game design is you have to make something like the dopamine has to hit. And part of that is there has to be some challenge or some type of expectation of something. And in a card game, if it was like, if there was nothing there for you, then, that dopamine is not hitting hitting you basically. But man, I love these streams. We just go all over the place. But so honestly, guys, I don't think taunt is broken. Yes, Drax is probably the best hero to use taunt for. But even my win against Ronan, it took many attempts. It wasn't easy. I played this game a lot. It was probably one of the hardest challenges I've ever done. And I'm not obviously gonna try to do turn 1 kills every time I play Marvel Champions. And I like that there's even, if you're into deck building, if you're into really just going through crunching the numbers, it's cool that you can even remotely try something like this. Yeah, I agree with you, Team Art. But yeah, it's a fun card. And no, I don't think it's broken. I don't think it's broken. We are go for the champions. Yes, that was a broken card, but they fixed. Thank goodness for that. They fixed Cosmo too, which was another broken card with Doctor Strange. But yeah, so that basically that is now going back to not every hero can do this, and that's objective. That's not even subjective, because I can tell you that as much as I love Hawkeye or Doctor Strange, even I don't think Doctor Strange can pull off a turn one kill. Even though how powerful Doctor Strange is, because he doesn't have the mechanisms to get all the card advantage that he needs. I don't see it. I mean, I didn't sit down and take the spreadsheets out and everything, but I just know, just even playing with Drax, which he has the mechanisms to do it, he barely did it. So I don't see it coming from even Doctor Strange, Spider-Ham, none of those. Because the thing that what makes Drax able to do it is he draws cards. So when he attacks, you draw a card. When he gets hit with 3 counters, you draw a card. The other heroes don't have that mechanism. And that's why I say that, it's not going to work with Doctor Strange and many heroes. But I will leave the door open. I'm not saying, like, there might be another hero out there that I'm not thinking of or I have to look into, and they might be able to turn 1 kill a villain. The other thing I would say going forward is, because my mind's all over the place, maybe you're asking me, well, what's the difference from solo to multiplayer? And I always, wouldn't a turn 1 kill be easier in solo? I don't know. To be honest with you, I have not really thoroughly tested it. I feel though when you partner with Cable, it's more magical, it's more quicker to set up, and it's I think way more combo damage potential. But yeah, I'm not going to put my stamp on it. I don't know. What I can tell you that Cable and insert whatever hero, but mainly currently I've done Star-Lord and Drax is off the hook. Very good. Because not only even Cable has, so when he defeats like superpower training, he can get his force field out, which synergizes with Drax taking a big hit. You prevent that damage. Drax gets his Dweeb Teeth, or Drax gets his other weapon. So there's so much synergy here, and I love the fact that they're also low tier hero. They're kind of low tier heroes, especially Drax. I just that was my biggest thing. I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be funny. Let's one turn kill Ronan and have all the power tier rankings all afraid now. Like, oh, what did Describe just do? Okay, so we talked about Major Victory adding that in, Black Panther adding in. I didn't play with these cards, but I think they're worthy of it. Obviously, Maria Hill is going to give Drax another card. One cool thing that I like to start the Power Stone off with Cable. And I run 2 Moxies, I believe, but the reason you might say, well, what the hell, what's up with Moxie? So I just want to read this chat here. Team Art says 2 players so much more engaging to watch. Deck building 2 decks with the other in mind shows more skill and game knowledge too. Yeah, 100%. So the reason why you just want that +1 Thort basically, because when he's player 1, and that's another thing, obviously don't have Drax be player 1. You got to be getting your rage counters up, and you don't want to be taking 2 boost cards from the villain. It's okay if somehow you get the Power Stone later in the game, but not at the start. You want Cable to go number 1. Also, he's the one that has to get the size scheme. So yeah, it's not going to work if you put Drax as player 1. But yeah, Cable's 3 Thort with the Power Stone. So, but when you play Moxie, it bumps him to 4. And then, so most of your player size schemes are at 6. So if you play Maria Hill, she's 2 Thort. If you play White Tiger, 2 Thort. And basically, with one of those, they remove 2, and then you remove 4, and then you ready and you defeat one of the bigger size schemes. And that's the whole purpose of Moxie, really. It's and again, you can do it again because then he's ready, and then you just play Maria Hill or another Black Panther comes out from Call for Backup, so he can do that another 2 for you, and there you go. Obviously, Digging Deep is another big thing here. So the main combo here is Call for Aid with Digging Deep, and then so Call for Aid is basically getting you Kalu or White Tiger, and also on its way, you're probably getting some Digging Deeps. Now, Kalu is, you might say, why Kalu? Well, I was using Kalu at the time to try to get me the Blaze of Glory. So that was its main purpose, or a Call for Aid. Those were the 2 big choices I wanted to try to get Kalu with. But now, by doing Call for Aid, you'll probably, if you run 2 Blaze of Glories, you'll probably discard 1. So then when you nail off Call for Backup, Blaze will go underneath Black Panther, and voila, there you go. You can now play it. You don't even have to search for it. The other thing I would say, guys, is you really want to try to get Call for Aid on Cable's turn. Like, I don't think it's going to be very, very hard if you don't get Call for Aid, because Call for Aid is going to probably give you 1 or 2 or sometimes 3 Digging Deeps with an ally. And that is such a big tempo move right there. And it's just going to make it so much more explosive by like maybe getting 2 player size schemes, 3 sometimes, taking the tough off, having a couple chump blockers even. White Fox is also should be included because you're going to be doing this call for Aid Digging Deep strategy. But that's pretty much how Cable plays. One little tip here is when you're doing your draw phase at the start, do your draw phase for each player. Don't do the setup until you figure out what Drax has. If Drax gets White Teeth Mastery, you don't need to go search for superpower training. I usually always like to get Call for Backup because that's such a tempo move for turn 1. And that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to kill the villain on turn 1. So that pretty much covers Cable. I mean, unless anybody has questions, but like it says, his job is to get Drax set up. Make sure Drax has all his goodies, the right allies, lots of card draw. And that's his main thing. And I think I covered it. Now, going to Drax, your number 1 thing is a couple things. You want to get somehow Dweet Teeth. You have to have it in play. If you don't get Dweet Teeth, this 1 turn is not happening. I'm sorry. So, like I said, you have to try to get it. No ifs or buts. I never really played the Drax Other Knife. T-Mart, how many size teams I defeated? I think I only defeated 2. I might have been 3. Would have to look at the video. I never really played this card. I'm not saying it's bad because you do get hit a lot by Ronan. Yeah, I played a lot of turns. I think if I played it now with these new changes in the decks, I would do better though, to be honest, guys. The thing is, it's not a bad, Retaliant's not bad, but your resources and your card draw is very limited with Drax. You have to be very smart. Another thing is, try your best not to play an energy barrier without a double. Okay, you need to play these with your doubles. With Drax, you run 3 doubles: the strength, the power, the genius, or the energy. So what I usually do is I'll try to hold a double just in my hand until I draw into energy barrier. Then I play it, and then you have 3 repurposes in your deck, and then you repurpose. Ideally, here's your ideal situation. You get an energy barrier in your opening turn with a double, with a taunt. That is like literally the best. Well, and Dwight Teeth Mastery. If that would be like, that's what we got on our winning game, I think. Because you play your energy barrier, then you taunt, and he's gonna take off. He's gonna take off a counter which pings off the tough. And then you might draw into another taunt. You do another taunt, pings, saves you another damage, and then you repurpose it with 1 counter on it. That's like your best start, which I think on our winning game, that's exactly what we did. Okay, so again, there's a lot of figuring out in your head what you're doing. It's not just all RNG. Clue says, that's the reason I decided to run a copy of Power Protection for Energy Barrier and what doesn't kill me. I think it's worth it. Well, I will challenge you on this, Clue, because I go all out here. I don't sugarcoat anything, and I respect you're a very knowledgeable person. The only thing, devil's advocate, is if you're running 3 doubles and the power ofs, that could clutter your deck a little bit. Like when you really need that ready. Like we came down to 1 ready left to win that game. What if I drew a power of? So I would caution. I would have to play test it, to be honest, but part of me thinks that might be too many resources, and because the game I won, I had too many doubles. I actually used a double to play a taunt because my other cards were so important. But like I said, I haven't play tested it. Maybe you're right on that, but from my gut feeling, I feel like you might draw into too many resources, and then not enough things that you need to draw into, which are the readies and attack me and stuff like that. But again, got to play test it to figure out if that is what I'm saying. So let's let's put these down here. So we're talking about Drax. Do not discard any of your taunts. Near the very end, when you're like down to like 10, 15 cards, you maybe your health is low and you don't have any parries, you don't have cables, telekinetic, force field, then yeah, you don't want to play your last taunt. I'm not saying play, but realistically, if you can, play all 3 of them. And if you're doing energy shields and healing and stuff like that, with his telekinetic force and your parries, you can, well, it's funny you mentioned Perseverance. I like this card for what we're trying to do against Ronan, just because Ronan hits so damn hard, and a lot of games that came down to 2 or 1 health, and the fact that we might want to play our Drax Knife, or we want to play like a limited stamina, I can use this as a resource and heal 1. And I never had a problem playing my energy barriers because I always hold onto my double. I hold onto my double no matter what, and if I draw into the energy barrier, I play it. So I never got into that feeling like, oh damn, where's my double? In fact, almost all my games, I've always only played the energy barriers with the double. And I never really, because I was drawing so many cards with Taunt and IPAC and Maria Hill, I always seem to have the double. But again, this I like this card. Maybe I'm wrong in it, but I feel like it, because you're taking so much abuse from Ronan, that 1 health could be huge, as ironically as that might sound. But yeah, if you don't play with it, I don't think it means you're not gonna win just because of this 1 card. I say to put in your deck. But so the other thing I didn't think about, and I think run 1 plasma pistol. Now you might say, why? Well, I'll tell you why. Because if Cable takes out Lock and Loaded, you can put plasma pistol in. And what's nice about plasma pistol, you can even use it to ping off a tough or to do 1 additional damage. And then you use your repurpose, and then you're up, you get a ready +2 more attack. So you can't do that with your. So if normally I would with superpower training or sorry, the locked and loaded, I would just put this in, but you can't repurpose Drax's knife, and it's only +1 attack. Whereas if you repurpose the plasma pistol, that's 2 more attack with a ready. So I actually think, and I didn't even see this. So this would have made my life so much easier if I was playing with just 1 plasma pistol, so that when I got locked and loaded, done by Cable, we could bring that in an easy repurposed target for us. And again, I think that would have made so much difference, to be honest with you, because that's just like, that's money right there. And locked and loaded is only a 4 scheme, which is quite easy to take out. So it's not a big deal. Yeah, I would recommend run 3 Return the Favors. Again, you want the villain to attack you, get the rage counters. And more importantly, it does 5 damage. That's really, really good. A lot of times, Ronan the Accuser gets like scheme, you don't care. So it's like free 5 damage. At the time, I was running Scarlet Spider, so I would draw a card with it. But Nick Fury will do the same thing. What other thing I would say? And then another thing is sometimes he'll attack the person with the Power Stone with that Treachery card, which is great because this is what happens. He attacks Cable, it goes to him, and then your Return the Favor hits him for 5, and then you get the Power Stone. And usually at that time, you probably have done most of your taunts and whatnot, and you're not, you're going to be pairing or doing telekinetic force field or you're going to not be too worried about taking 2 boost cards at that point in the game, usually. But yeah, so definitely a sleeper card, I think. I think this is, and again, it's doing what you want to do. You want to kill the villain on turn 1, and Return the Favor is great. Run 3. I think I mentioned this, but yeah, hold on to your Knife Leap. Don't discard them. That 5 damage, but more importantly, the piercing. Obviously, you're not going to play it unless you have 3 rage counters on, so it's a 0 cost. But yeah, I would say very important for the flip. When you do the flip on stage 3, you have to have the Knife Leap. You need that momentum. It's all about momentum. What's going to happen is near the end, you're going to start to slow down. Like the gas pedal is going to be, you're going to be trying to push it, and because your resources and your cards are shrinking more and more and more as you're using Drax. So piercing is critical, because if you don't, that's a wasted sort of jump blocker or an attack, and you don't want that. You want to be as precise and effective as possible with all your cards that you play. I would run 3 limited stamina, and because the name of the game is readying Drax and attacking. Okay, so this is great with him because he has 14 HP. He's able to play it. I run 3 repurposes, and then we talked about what doesn't kill me and Fight Me Cowards from his own deck. So so that is it, guys. That's basically it. I think I kind of covered out how it works, and I kind of broke down why it works. And like I said, not every hero in the game can do this. It really depends on their mechanics of that hero. Like Star-Lord, he's able to abuse face down and counter cards. Drax is able to abuse by attacking, he draws a card, and also when he gets attacked with max counters, he draws a card. So, I wouldn't say, oh, Discard make a library of turn 1 kills with every single hero. That's not going to happen because not every hero has the mechanical nature to do that. Am I mad at that? No. But it begs a differ to, why. Oh, Leading Blow was hidden there. Let's just talk about Leading Blow. So, shall not ever discard Leading Blow. I don't care if you need it for a resource. This is literally the best card with Drax. Once you skyrocket those attack counters, or when you get him to 9, 12 attack or whatnot, this thing is gonna hit, ready you, and it cycles. So it's damage, and it's the safest thing in the world. Please don't discard that card. That is a shall not ever discard card. Okay, so then going back. Yeah. So here's the bottom line, guys. Bottom line is this: as the card pool, T-Mart says something. It would be fun to see how many heroes you can do it with, though. Yes, T-Mart, I agree. And maybe I'll try. I'll figure out, is there another hero out there that sort of can abuse their mechanisms to do a turn 1 kill? I'll have to think about that a little bit. Maybe Clue could help me out because he seems pretty knowledgeable. T-Mart, you got me all blustered. What was I saying? I was saying something. I read your chat. Yeah, so I'm just gonna figure out, I don't know what I was saying, but my point is, I wanted to explain the best I could for more of the novice or kind of intermediate player for Marvel Champions, how this is really working. Because yes, I have my video posted, but I'm not explaining all the detailed things that are happening. I'm just kind of going through the motions. But this kind of gives you a better understanding mechanically how things are working and why Cable, why Drax. And I explained, basically how they're able to do a turn 1. And I explained the key things you need to pull it off, like do IT Mastery, play your Energy Barrier, do your Repurpose, try to get Blaze of Glory, done by on Cable's side. Make sure you do your Call for Aid, get the Digging Deep. So yeah, I kind of went over all that. Bottom line, though, it is a tough challenge. Just because you watch this video and you're like, okay, great. I listened to everything Describes was saying. Yes. I rewind it. I took notes. It's not going to be, it might take you a lot of attempts, which for me it did, but I also wasn't playing with some of the cards that I talked about here. That probably would have made my life a lot more easier. Don't get discouraged. Like, if you want to try this for yourself and it doesn't even happen, don't give up. I know if you're persistent and you work, a lot of it is just feeling it, getting in a rhythm. Eventually you'll get that W. Trust me. The only way you won't get the W is if you give up. So there was a point where I was just failing. I came close a few games, but I am a very competitive person. I'll give you guys a story. So when I was a little kid, I had one of those like Nintendo handhelds. What are they called? Game Boys. Yeah, of course. And I had a game called Tetris on it. My dad's not really a gamer, but my dad liked Tetris. And I remember I got this high score. I'm like, I was really happy about it. And I said to my dad, oh, you'll never beat this score. My dad's a very competitive person too. So my dad took it as a, competition thing. The dude spent night after night after night grinding, trying to beat my score. I feel bad for him, but guess what? The dude beat my score. And this, my dad's not like a gamer. But man, he was persistent and he beat my score by a lot. And I don't think I was even able to beat that score once he beat it. And I was so sure he was not going to beat my score because I felt at the time I killed it, like in this Tetris, this 12-year-old, or how old I was, I can't remember. But that being said, yeah. So when I was playing this, I'm like, I am going to beat freaking Ronan on turn 1 with these heroes. I don't care if it takes me like months and months. I mean, that would be I would probably lose half my channel if they just every night see me playing the same thing over and over and failing. But no, I knew we could do it because there was a few games where it came down to literally one more card. So that, that really kind of pumped me up. Like, man, it is possible. It is possible to do it because I could see just in the cards. But T-Mart says, do it with every character, or you want to see me try to do it with every character. Yeah, I mean, I will say this, guys. The one turn kill on Venom Goblin and the one turn on Ronan, those have gotten so much likes and so many views so quickly. I've never seen anything like even my response videos that are like my most popular thing I do on here. Those got trumped over the one turn kill videos. So definitely it is something that's kind of made my channel supercharged with these one turn plays. Clue says this is actually really fun. It's worth it. Spider Woman would be low hanging fruit. You're funny. So yeah. Anyways, guys. Here's before I go, I want to say this. I like Marvel Champions. I think there might be some people out there that goes, well, this just proves that the game is broken or it's not well balanced because you can do stuff like kill the hardest villains on turn 1 in the game. I don't think necessarily. I think it's more like kind of like an achievement. Like, I'm not going to be playing the game. It's fun to try something different. I agree. And this is a lot different than Rush. This is literally afterburners on maximum degree. You're just trying to do it in just one turn only. Again, it's limited to heroes. I will stand by that. As the card pool increases, maybe more heroes have the potential to do a one-turn kill based on doing the right combos. But next evolution, like I said, really opened up the floodgates. It made, like I said, Drax and Star-Lord, those are the current heroes that I've kind of looked at. It just exploded their power potential on turn 1. So who knows? Like maybe in the future, with more card pool, okay, think about this, guys. Deadpool is on his way. I've looked at the preview. I've looked at the preview cards. This guy screams, one turn, kill you, bro. It's done. This guy's okay, when I get Deadpool, the first game that we do with Deadpool is going to be a turn 1 insert villain kill or whatever. In fact, I might do all my Deadpool games as a turn 1 kill because that guy just screams turn 1. If you look at a lot of his cards and stuff, this dude can do unbelievable damage. And there's so many things you can kind of do to like combo and little tricks you can do. I will say this, and you guys have me on camera. He will make Drax and Star-Lord look like little schoolgirls when we talk about one-turn kill heroes. So you got me on video. Descry is literally saying it will be King Deadpool as the one-turn tier god killer of this game. And let's see if I'm right on that. I mean, obviously I don't have his cards in front of me, but I mean, I looked at the preview cards and the light bulb just started going, oh my God, OMG, OMG. So yeah, when we get Deadpool, which I did order, and this time around, they actually got my Angel and Psylocke on time, which is like so weird. They're always late, but you can look forward to day 1 doing one-turn kills with Deadpool with Descry Gaming. So look forward to that. So that's pretty much it, guys. I think oh yeah, what I wanted to say before we end the stream is I think there is room in this game to have quirky things like this. I don't think it breaks the game. I don't think this is not a competitive game we play against each other. It's a game that we play against the villains. And I think it's just kind of funny and entertaining to watch some heroes try to do a one-turn kill. I don't think it doesn't stop me from wanting to play the game. And I like that there's multiple ways to play the game. You could try to do a one-turn kill. You could try to do a rush, meaning you just try to kill the villain as quickly as possible, no matter how many rounds it is, but ignoring most things in the game, just doing damage. You could play a more standard control game by setting up, controlling threat, controlling minions, trying to battle out the villain every round. And the nice part is, there's no right or wrong way to play this game. And for people trying to say, "Oh, that just shows that the game is stupid or is not a good game," I think they're missing the point. I think for me though, I think my hope is that Tony and Caleb, as they're giving us all these awesome cards, like I think player size games has dramatically increased the power creep for the players. I believe the next logical route is they need to increase the villain's power, um, the power state of the villain. And how do they do this? What does it look like? Well, that's up for Tony and Caleb to figure out. They're the professional developers out there. But all I'm saying is that they need to come up with a creative way to give that player some threat there or some counterbalance to their power creep. And I'm sure they're smart enough and well, experienced to know how to do that. I have faith. I think Caleb and Tony are super smart people, and I think they love the game, and I think they understand that they have to kind of do that in some degree. And I know in their interviews they've said they want to empower the players, but at the same time they've done stuff like nerf for the champions. They nerf Cosmo, so yes, they want that fun factor for the players, but I also think they understand game design and understand that balancing act. And that's what it is. If you play any type of game out there, any good game out there has those components in, right? And that's all I'm saying. But I think if I had to predict the next big box set or next scenario set, or maybe it's the box set, they're probably going to introduce some new mechanism for the villain. And I have no clue what type of mechanism it will be, but my prediction is it will be something there to maybe counterbalance that kind of power creep that the players are getting now with all these new awesome, cards that they have. Would it be like a standard 2? Now it's standard 3, expert 3. I don't know. I don't think they probably go down that road, but who knows? But maybe it's some other type of mechanic that happens on a flip or on expert or some other condition. We'll see. That's my prediction. I could be wrong, but I'm hoping they do go that route though, because I feel that if they release another big box set with just more awesome cards that they're giving us, the players, and they don't do anything for that villain set, I think then I start to worry, because then I feel, I for me personally, I want to still feel that challenge, right? I want to, but mechanically, I think you have to incorporate some of that in there. Like, yes, you can add modulars and stuff like that, but that only does so much, right? And a good example is teamwork. So teamwork was a new thing introduced for the villain, and that changed a lot of the meta. So normally, a lot of times, when people play Marvel Champions, they get minions out, and it's not such a big thing. Like, you could have 2 or 3 minions out sometimes, not a big deal. But like these teamwork minions are totally different. Like if you get 1 or 2, 3 or 4, it's usually game over. Like it's it's cascading into a lot of bad stuff. And I think that's great. I like that concept, because it forces players to change the way they play the game a little bit. And I think that's the key with this game is, you open the doors to newer things, and you challenge that player to learn the game, right? But also then to take what they know about the game and then manipulate certain things, right? You see that in Juggernaut. You see that in like Doctor Strange or Mr. Strange. How like, if you want to run a status hate on him, you can, but he's also going to be adding threat onto the main scheme. And so there's a lot of cool concepts that you play Mojo too. Like, so Mojo has a timer, but he also has, if you're in hero for too long, he's going to be discarding a lot of his stuff and adding a bunch of threat on characters. So again, I like those concepts, and I really hope they continue to push those boundaries. And from my evidence into Next Evolution, it looks like they're embracing that. And Tony, I will say this: Tony's very mechanical developer. So I think that's in his nature. He's going to continue to push those. Caleb's more, I think, more traditional developer. I think he thinks more about all player levels, like novice, intermediate, expert. But he's more like, I think, not as extreme like Tony, which I think is good. They're like yin and yang, basically. So Kayla could be like, yo, Tony, your mechanics are a little bit too bonkers, lower it down. And then Tony could say to Caleb, hey, Caleb, you got to add more stuff to your scenario. It's a little boring, So I think they make a good combination, both of them. So anyways, guys, it's going to wrap it up. Again, not going to say that you're going to get a win by doing everything I talked about in here, but I think if you follow a lot of the concepts and strategies, I think you'll come close. Maybe you get the one-turn win on Ronan. But anyways, good luck on it if you decide to go for this challenge with these group of heroes. If you play it and you stumble upon something that I didn't even talk about in here that really helped you beat the scenario, add it in the comments. I'd love to hear it, because that's literally how I learned about Major Victory and other things, so we're a community. We get better at the game together. So yeah, leave it in comments if you have some input on how to make this even better, or different concept or strategies I missed. Anyways, one thing I want to say, because I always forget, one cool thing that you can kind of do is with Cable, if so you would want to take the 2 damage and get the hammer back into the deck. With the call for aids, and also IPAC, there's a good chance either to get the hammer in the counter that you get dealt. A lot of games I would get 3 or 4, sometimes 5 encounter cards, because I was decking out so many times. What that does is 2 really good things. You might, if you're lucky, if this is an encounter card dealt by doing your calling for aids and whatnot, an IPAC, if this is dealt as a face down encounter card, when you flip him to his other side and you search for superior tactics, it's not there. It's face down as a counter card. He does not get it on the flip. So what ends up happening, yes, he takes the stone away, but then you instantly attack with Drax and get it right back, which has happened to me maybe 1 or 2 games. I'm not joking. So, try to deck your deck with Cable. Try to deck your deck out as much as possible, because you might get lucky and get it as a face down encounter card. The other thing is you might get lucky and get the hammer as a face down encounter card, and that way you don't have to worry about it constantly getting reattached to Ronan. Anyways, I'm gonna say goodbye to everybody. Thank you again. Please like and comment on the video. Iron Man, take it away.
It's me, Iron Man. Now, how much Discord paid me doesn't matter. What matters is to like and subscribe to Discord Gaming, or else I will repulsor bless you. Seriously, this is what you wrote me.